If you're a long-term viewer of this channel, you know that I've been complaining about Conquest for a very, very long time. I even made some dedicated videos on like what I would like to see changed and even how to mod your own vanilla Conquest campaign. But what if I told you that modders did all the heavy lifting? So 90% of all the problems that I have with Conquest are gone, they're fixed. And guys from Conquest Enhanced v2 did exactly that by creating an application that can help you tailor the mod, tailor the game as you wish. This app can act as a mod manager. It allows you to change all sort of eco settings for both player and AI, crew transfers from a tank to a tank, from artillery to artillery, colon stages, difficulty and reward system, time for attack and defense preparation time, and many, many more things. So allow me to show you how things work. How do we find Configurator app? Well, first I'm going to go to this PC, and then I'm going to look for storage space that is containing my Steam library. And I know for me it's D, so I'm going to go over here into Steam library and then Steam apps. That's it. Well, over here you have the list of all the mods, and over here you have common, basically would be all the games that you have installed. If you want to check game files, usually you go there. But we're going to go into workshop and then content. So now we have the list of essentially all the mods that we have installed on Steam. I think we're looking for 515, the last one. Yeah, this should be it, I think. And once you enter, you can see Configurator. You go into the app, you double click, and you should be able to open it up. Alternatively, if you have no idea where essentially your Steam library is, what you can do is just find Gates of Hell over here. Then we're going to right click, we're going to go to manage, and then we're going to go to browse local files. We are not interested in the local files, but through this over here, we can find Steam apps. You can see. And now we can go into workshop. So we are looking for Steam apps, we're looking for workshop, content again, and then we find the last 515, essentially that has immediately C Configurator in. As soon as you open CV Configurator, you're offered a couple of options. So here we have to select the branch. And if you're playing classical CV2, or maybe you're adding some smaller mods, I will go for C stable. And if you're playing with Mace, then you have like a specific button to click on over here. The other two you should not be concerned with. Economy difficulties where things get a little bit tricky. So in vanilla, you have from low to very high economy. Here you have from impossible to easy. And I think this is more honest naming because with high economy or easy economy here, you get more starting resources, you get more resource gain per day, per battle. And those multipliers are bigger, essentially. The lower the economy, the less starting resources you get, and the daily gain is even less. Also, when you sell things on the market that you capture from the enemy, you're gonna get different pricing. Well, this is not all. Also, difficulty in the battle depends on the economy. So enemy army depends on the size of your army. This is one of the many multipliers that exist for enemy AI. But on easy economy, that multiplier is smaller. On impossible difficulty, that multiplier is bigger. So if you play on impossible economy, you not only get way less resources, but enemy army as a percentage of your army is way bigger. So it's not about economy, about slow down and like having a slower progress with lower economy, but also the difficulty of the entire campaign will be different. On top of the app, you can select your language. So if you're a French speaker or Russian or Ukrainian or Spanish or English, you can switch easily, which is pretty cool. So top left corner, we have Mod Manager, and Mod Manager allows you to essentially find all the mods. They can be local, they can be from the workshop, but essentially this is where they are. And you can auto-detect them, you can reload all the mods, you can do some diagnostics if you have crashes or incompatibility issues. Pretty damn neat. So over here, you have the list of all available mods for the game. And you're going to get warned immediately if the mod is currently incompatible with CV2. We can see that Horton's doesn't work well with this one, or Valor currently. But if I wanted to access mod files, I can just click here, and there you go. You can change some of the game files or mod files, whatever you need. And then if you want to activate this mod, maybe I do not need this one, I want to use the German Normandy campaign, I can go here, activate, and now it's there. But I do not want to use Conquest Normandy. This is the American version, so I'm going to disable it, just like that, right? So you can change the position of the mod, like which one we're going to load first, second, the third. It's up to you. And you can use up and down, or you can just, click and drag. Pretty neat. Then over here, you can select your branch that we discussed before. So if you made a mistake, you can just alter the branch and no big deal. You can save specific presets with the economy. You can select specific preset with the mods, and you can save them, you can delete them, load them. Pretty neat. Player setting option can help you change a lot of stuff. So you can alter economy settings that we discussed previously. You can change colon stages or their values. So they're currently set at the 45. We can put stage 1 at 50, maybe stage 3 at 100, and stage 5 can be 150. I think that currently max value is 200. Let's see if we can go above that. Nah, 200 is the limit. But if you want to keep the same value for colon stages, you can just go over here and sync them. So if I say 60, that's it. You can reset the value if you don't like it, which is pretty cool. And now we have uniform value across the board from stage 1 to stage 5. Starting resources are usually determined by the economy difficulty, but even though you're playing a specific difficulty, you can, again, make changes. So I can go for 6,000 here. Those special points, I can say 30. Ammunition can go to maybe 5,000. Or you can make it 100,000. You never have to worry about it during your campaign. Then we have research points. Maybe 20 would be easier to play with. And below that, you have advanced economy overrides. Before we talk about global max CP, let's talk about special CP. So special CP, you first have to research those special things like bombardments, like heavy guns, mortar barrages, aerial bombs, or smoke screens, recon planes, airdrops, or even deployable plane that you can manually control. This is referring to special CP, and of course you use special points to essentially buy them. Over here, having placement CP, which I think refers to those special emplacements that you can get. There's like they don't really exist in vanilla, but they exist in CE. And you need field engineers to construct them, like bunkers and special emplacements, machine gun nests, and stuff like that. But what does it mean, global CP 1000? That means that if you select from colon stage 1 to colon stage 5, and you add all of these values together, and then you add the special CP value and emplacement CP value, they cannot exceed 1000. If they exceed 1000, you will not be able to load your campaign. So if that happens, you have to reduce those values, or you have to increase global max CP. That's it. Below that, sorry about it. Below that, we have resource gain. So how many resources you gain per day if you win, and how many resources you gain per lost battle. And from day 1 to day 3, you get 300 per victory. This will be the base value. If you lose, you get 200. But from day 4, things change. Then day 6, things change. Day 8, things change, and so long and so forth. You can change that for manpower points, for research, for anything you like, essentially. Below that, there is a risk reward. And you remember, whenever you start a Conquest battle, which you select the map, they come with the star rating from 1 to 3. For the 1-star rating, you get the multiplier that's 125. For 2-star, you get 150, and for the 3-star, you get 175. So this mod is quite unforgiving, especially on higher difficulty stars. So maybe you want to make it 3. If I survive that thing, I'm gonna have heavy casualties, and I want to be able to, replenish with manpower points, with ammunition, with research, whatever. So it's up to you what you're gonna do. Below that is Defender AI, which is quite interesting because this is where whatever you're defending, right? For example, you have those options to research AI Defender Assistant, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. The higher the tier, the more AI assistant you get, the more troops, allied troops you get to help you defend. The same applies to the enemy. And this one is when the bot is defended. When you are attacking, so there are no special defenses until day 8. This is level 1, day 8. Defense level 2 from day 12 on. And defense level 3 would be from day 16 and onwards. So, if you want to change those days, you want to make it more difficult for yourself, or just push it up to the later date, again, it's up to you. Then this is when the bot is attacker. This is your friendly AI assistant. You can change the number of flags that you have to defend, and you can also change essentially the number of emplacements. Those fixed anti-tank guns, anti-air guns, machine guns, tank emplacements, whatever. I think the lower the value, the more emplacements you're gonna get. But do not quote me on this one. I talked to developers. They explicitly explained this, but this was like a month ago, so I forgot. I apologize. And below that, you have, again, AI Defender difficulty modifier. This one refers to the same thing. But this is like on easy difficulty, AI gonna have less emplacements. On heroic difficulty, AI is gonna have bigger number of emplacements that you have to kill in order to take those flags. But do a little bit of a research yourself, do some testing, and you will see what kind of works for you. And now we can just go and apply changes. And we can move to the next one. The first option in the economy setting would be essentially manpower points for the AI. And as we said, manpower points is something that AI uses to buy vehicles or equipment or troops. So you can, depending on the economy, you can increase it or you can decrease it. So you can go to -10 or up to +20 from default value. That's it. It's up to you. If it's too difficult, you can kind of lower it down. Your thing. The next one will be CP. So this one is not referring to, the amount of money AI has. This is essentially restricting the overall CP cap that AI will have. So you can still allow AI to have high quality troops, but not as many, essentially. And we have base CP. I guess this is based off our base CP. And currently it's 60 across the board. But then you have the attack multiplier. So currently attack multiplier is 345 for easy economy. For example, in vanilla, this attack multiplier is 1. So you can see how much more difficult this mod is from vanilla. It's like on easy economy, this is 3.5 times as difficult as a very high economy in vanilla. Just to note. Then if you put on standard, it increases to 365. Hard is 380 and impossible is 4. And you might not think that the difference is that big, but it is. Trust me. I played with the British campaign outside of CE. I played vanilla that I modded myself. And there's a big difference, in like 0.5. That's a huge difference. And this is what I said before, that economy does not only determine your starting resources and your resource gain per battle, but also determines like how big of an enemy army you're going to face. That's it. So here you can make some changes if the current setting is too difficult, or maybe you're a really good player, so this could be too easy. You can increase the difficulty for your setup economy, but you have to select particular economy that you're playing. Don't forget about that. Here you have advanced settings with the graph. You can change those things, but I simply do not care with this one. Let's go to the AI research. So this one allows AI to perform specific technological, advancements. So, for example, if you want to play from, early war, maybe up to day 10, a lot of people ask like, oh, can we have Conquest that's set up in a specific time period from like 39 to 41? you can make it yourself. Like, you can force AI. I'm kind of pushing it too low. Not gonna allow me to do that. So maybe I can go up to day 10, and AI will be forced into the same technology. We're gonna give AI nothing, right? So then after day 10, you go into middle war, or you give them like specific technology points, whatever. You can force them into whatever you like, and then you play for 10 days mid war, and then maybe the rest of the campaign can be slow gain over time until you get into late war technology. You can do whatever you like. This is so good. Well, we have the conquest score. Below that, this is the on top of your conquest. As soon as you start battle, you can see the essentially the timer. This is the timer, and in CE is 22,000. So it's a bit different from vanilla, and you have a multiplier. I guess the higher the multiplier is, it increases over here. Just increases the core value of it. So this is just overall score that you need to reach. So if you increase the score, that means that you're going to have more time on the offensive, but that means that you're going to have to defend for a longer time. So be careful. And then you have the tick rate for the same score. So you can make it tick slower, minus 25%. You can make it twice as slow, like 0.5. And you can have a unlimited preset that you don't have to worry about the timer at all. But then you have defense multiplier. You can maybe lower this up if you want to have longer defensive battles, or you can increase it so that score kind of wraps up more quickly, and you can finish your defensive battles quicker. So it's completely up to you. Do whatever you like. You can change some advanced parameters. I never understood how this works. There is a calculator. If you open this up, you can get some spreadsheets, and you can do some calculations if you're interested. I simply never cared about it. You can switch between attack and defense, but this is like too much of a math for me. I'm not a wizard, unfortunately. And again, something really cool. This will be defense preparation time. So we have flag number 1, and we have attack minutes would be 8, and max would be 10. So essentially this means that enemy will strike somewhere between minute 8 and minute 10. They're like a 2-minute where AI will attack. But you can increase this to make it 10-10. So absolutely at 10 minutes, you know that AI will strike. But you cannot increase this value more. You can see if you increase the minimum value, maximum value rises as well. So usually I would say 12 minutes or 15 minutes is enough to prepare defenses. More troops you have, you kind of need more time to prepare defenses. So maybe later we have integration between first and second flag. They're the same, but after third, fourth, fifth flag, you can increase that to whatever you prefer. So this is a superior system to what we did manually, and I love it. You should definitely give it a try, right? So this is about the AI, defense preparation time, tech score. Over here, we have some performance, and a lot of things are not available. There's like a developers version of this app where more things are available, but for the public, this is not available currently. This was called Entity Manager. So it decides on how many things will stay on the map. So if a soldier dies, you are limited to 150 bodies in multiplayer, but you can have up to 200 bodies in a single player. The more bodies, the more assets there are in the game, the lower the performance is. And the problem is, as developers of the mod told me, essentially is that all of these assets are being kind of calculated by the CPU. So even though you have a really good GPU and you think, oh, it's just a body on the ground, your CPU has to do a lot of heavy lifting. So this is why assets are disappearing. You can drop some mines and they will disappear. Even some of the weapons will disappear over time. This is why you have wrecks disappearing. So your CPU will not have to do as much work. And you can, if you have a really good machine, you can increase this. If you're struggling with performance, you can make those numbers smaller, and this should help you out. CV2 is famous or notorious for its battle events. This is what makes this mod so difficult, besides all other difficulty modifiers. And there is a specific chance that your communications will be cut through radio. If you don't have like a half track with like a radio on, you might suffer some issues like not being able to call special call-ins like bombardments or that type of assistance. Maybe you will not be able to see the enemies on the minimap, on the radar. They will not appear as like red dots and stuff like that. Then you have a chance for sabotage. I think that this is where you capture enemy vehicles or equipment. There is a certain chance that they will explode. Essentially, they will self-destruct as you enter. They're like booby-trapped. There is a chance of rear attack when you're defending. Sometimes AI will have like a fixing force from the front that you prepare to defend, and then you receive a message that they managed to flank us somewhere, and then essentially half of their troops appear from the rear and surprise you. You have also AI strategy. I'm not quite sure what this one is, but if you want to make sure that you never suffer from some of these events, you can just make sure that percentage is 0, and that's it. One of the coolest thing about this app would be it enables crew transfers. And I had a big rant, made like a huge video talking and complaining about how bad the Conquest is and what are the options that could be introduced to Conquest to make it better. And I specifically asked for crew transfers, for tanks, for artillery, for stuff like that. Why, if I have the entire campaign played with Panzer III, for example, and those guys racked up their veterancy to like tier 7 or 8, when I get Panther at day 16, can I just move them to another tank and just keep the veterancy, so I can sell the old one and just be more efficient? Many people said like, oh, that's super difficult, that's impossible to do. Well, these guys did it, and let me show you. We're gonna go into my Brits campaign from YouTube. You can get a bunch of information about your campaign, what's the day, what's the difficulty, resources. I'm not going to bother you too much, but what is important to understand is that crews for tanks, support, and vehicles are separate. So that means the tanks can exchange crew between themselves. Support includes, anti-tank guns, support guns, artillery pieces, machine guns, and vehicles like light armor vehicles, trucks for resupply, half tracks, kangaroos that transport infantry, whatever. They're a separate group. So you cannot exchange tank crew members for artillery crew members. That's impossible to do, right? It's important to understand. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna select. Maybe we can go with Churchill Mark 1. Why not? We have the veterancy level 5, but day is 21, and Churchill Mark 1 is kind of obsolete at this point, right? So we're gonna click continue, and now I'm looking for suitable, vehicle, suitable tank to be precise. Some tank with low veterans. This one is 8, 3, 2, 0. So we have Churchill Mark 4 AVRE. Let's go over there. And now we are exchanging 5 crew members for a tank that has 6 crew members. This might be a bit of an issue, but essentially it's not. So you can select who are the guys that will be transferred eventually. You don't have to transfer everyone, right? One of the guys will be left out. So we're going to change these 5 for other 5, but this guy going to stay where he is. And one thing to make clear, you can say, oh, but this guy going to ruin their veterancy because they're level 5 and this one will be level 0. Crew veterancy of any vehicle, any piece of equipment in this game is being calibrated in a way that the highest the veterancy level of a crew member, the entire vehicle will take that veterancy. Essentially, that's it. That's the only thing that you have to think of. So even if we transfer a single guy that's level 5 into other 5 guys that are veterancy level 0, the entire crew will now become level 5. The only risk is if that single guy gets killed, the thing gets penetrated, the guy does that, the entire crew veterancy drops to 0 again. So, but let's go and review transfer. So you can see that Robert exchanging place with Sid, Albert with Christopher, and so on and so forth. But there is a bit of a price tag to it. So whenever you're changing crews, these guys have to enter, new vehicles. Even though they might be veterans, they have to get used to their new vehicles. They have to train. This training will cost some money. Essentially, it costs 50 manpower points and 10 ammunition per crew that's being transferred. So here we have 10 in total being transferred. That means that we're going to have to pay 500 in manpower points and 100 in ammunition. And it will automatically change those files. So this does not have to be connected to CV2. It can be vanilla. It can be other mods. And will automatically change all the values in your campaign. And that's really cool. If there is some kind of inconsistency, just the transfer will not go through. So it's bulletproof, right? So we're gonna apply transfer. Let's see now what happened. Yes. So we have those veterans over here. AVRE had the veterancy 0 to begin with. Here, veterancy is being calculated, I guess, the average number, but this is not how it functions in the game, so don't get it confused. So essentially, we have those guys transferred over here in AVRE, and now we have this is the one, Churchill Bark 1 with 0 veterancy, and we had to pay the price for it. And after we were finished with all of the changes, we simply gonna go to Mod Manager over here, and we can now launch the game. And the game will launch with all the mods ordered, with all the economy settings. Everything we change will be applied. One more thing. So here we have Overview. Overview includes all of the things that you changed. So, for example, if you want to play co-op with your buddies in your campaign, you have to have exactly the same value changes. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to connect together. So you're going to copy the clipboard and, send it to your buddy. You can see, all the change values, so he can change those values himself, his own configurator app. But I know the developers are working on a solution that would just copy this, and they can copy it back to their own configurator app, and all the files will be changed automatically, which will be really cool. Before we wrap this one up, I just wanted to say one great thank you to the mod developers for taking their time to talk to me. We talked about the mod, the plans for the future, about the state of the game. I really appreciate it. These guys been working for years, and I mean for years, making the mod what it is. They have contacts with developers of the game. Sometimes developers use a lot of the tips and tricks from the modders to make the game better, and they made Conquest campaign so much better than vanilla. These guys were not really paid for it. So if you really want to help those guys out, you can drop them a like, just to help the mod. You can essentially visit their Discord. If you have any questions, you want to be part of their community, you want to help with testing and just see all the new features as they come out, I'm gonna make a link down in the description. And if you can, it will be really nice to maybe donate a couple of bucks to the development team, because as I said before, they've been working for many years. A lot of guys put a lot of effort into this, and every little bit helps. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Consider supporting the team. See you next time.